Good morning, welcome aboard. Some geese are just flying by. It's a beautiful day up here in the Pacific Northwest. I am currently sitting at the lower helm station of my 1986 Ponderosa trawler known as Northwind. And I wanted to talk today a little bit about how I've come up with the projects that I'm going to do on this thing, or that I am doing, and why there's so many of them, and how I kind of choose which to do first and which to do in what order and so forth. So grab a cup of coffee, I got mine, and let's talk quickly about how we decided which projects to work on this thing. All right, I don't know if my method is the perfect method, but here's how I've been kind of managing this list of stuff. I sat down and I have built a spreadsheet with basically a line in there for every single thing I could possibly come up with that needed to be done on the boat. Big, little, indifferent, whatever. I put it all in a list. Then I went through and I built some categories of stuff, and I've categorized everything on the list. Then inside of those categories, I can put a priority on things. I can also put a column in there for the budget amounts. And that way I can kind of search through and sort the list and go, okay, I've got the budget is okay. Let's go find some of the most essential, high priority things that need to be done and so forth. So that's my methodology, all right? I'll give you a little bit of a look at what I do, or what the spreadsheet looks like, but I'm not going to make you sit and stare at a spreadsheet with me. So here we have our spreadsheet, and you can see, again, I've just got every single line item that could possibly be listed in here. Here's my categories, here's my priorities, my column for the budget, and this is my tool to keep track of all this stuff. As I'm categorizing these things on this list, I have kind of broken it down to a couple things. First of all, one is I would call it the operational essentials of the boat. So what I'm talking about here is the stuff, the systems I absolutely have to have working perfectly in order to feel like it's safe to take the boat out. Most of the operational essentials of the boat were fully functional when I bought it. There wasn't a ton of things that didn't work, but there were a couple. We found out that the anchor windlass was kind of shot, so I fixed that up. But for the most part, all the backbone of the boat is in good shape. Everything's running, everything works. We're all good there. However, under that category of operational essentials, I have some systems that I want to put on that are new to the boat to kind of make it easier for me as a single-handed person to manage this thing. And I've talked a little bit about the bow thruster and the cameras and so forth. So those kind of fall under the operational essentials / upgrades category. And then we've got kind of the day-to-day, I don't want to call them creature comforts, but they kind of are. Things like the house bank of batteries that powers all the systems when we're at anchor. That needs some attention. But also on that list are silly things like the microwave that's in this thing. I just can't figure out how to use it the way I use a microwave. And when I try to cook like big stuff in there, it seems to be overloading the inverter, and so the microwave's one of those things that will probably get upgraded. Back on that back deck, there was the old ice maker refrigerator back there under the bar area that doesn't work. It didn't work. We've already taken that out and removed it. But I'm going to get something to go in its place so that my bar area is a functional bar. That's not an essential thing, but sort of is for when you're at anchor up there and somewhere in some beautiful little anchorage up in Alaska. Gonna need a sundowner, right? The upgrades falls across kind of all these. So some of the areas of the boat I'm upgrading are for the creature comfort aspects of life, because essentially this is going to be my house that I'm going to live in full time. Once I'm living on it full time, this will be my only house. So, you know, when I upgraded the stereo, that was not essential, but it is kind of essential as a creature comfort thing. So that's kind of how I've organized the list. And as I've worked through it, I found, again, that by doing this, it gives me a way to kind of be a little better under control. And on those days when it's windy or rainy outside and it's not a good day to be working on the outside of the boat, I have kind of that list to go back to, and I go, okay, now that I'm inside today, let's do some of the inside things. So that's a little bit of what we do to manage this list today. I'll also show you some of the stuff getting checked off the list, because I know everyone is kind of wondering, at least I know my friends and family are you ever going to get done with working on that thing and go boating on that thing? So yes, I am.
All right, well, it's a Sunday morning, and I'm back here trying to figure out what to do with myself. The weather is inclement again. Rainy, a little bit of wind, pretty cold temperatures. It's not that pleasant out there, and I'm saying that's the voice of experience because, of course, we've already been out for our 6:30, 7 o'clock walk with the dog. So I've got the heater going inside here. I'm trying to kind of just figure out what to do with myself. I have my big to-do list pulled up on the computer over there. I think I told you I built a big Excel spreadsheet with everything listed in there. And one of the things we might work on is I've got some things to do down in the engine compartment or in the engine room underneath me where I'm standing here. I think I told you there's some of these overhead lights like these right here that are, one has no lens on it, and so the little light bulb in there is just in there, and I've already burned my noggin on that once after, they get hot. So I've got some LED versions of those lights to replace the whole fixture. And so there's 2 of those that need to be done down in the engine compartment. There's one in the forward cabin that needs to be done. And I think I have all my tools to do that inside the boat with me here, so I'll probably do that for a bit. All right, well, as with many things, once you've done one, then you go, I should probably do them both, because let's look. So that one's all nice and LED and low. That one's all kind of old school. So since I'm doing, and I've got one more light than I actually technically need in the cabinet there, I'm gonna do this front one in the forward cabin. So then both of these will be LED and I'll be done in here. All right, apologies for the noise, but the furnace is running. So actually I've got one here that's burned out. I got one way in the back that's burned out, and here's this one that's missing the lens I keep burning my noggin on. So I think we'll do the toughest one to get to first. Then I'll go get a couple more just straight white ones. These don't need to be red or white, they're just white. So let's go put this one back there. if we'll be able to see this or not, but anchor windlass switch down, went down, up, up. Clunk, man. When it's there, it's there. But there we go. Anchor windlass project 100% complete. Cross it off the list. So this is what we get when the dog wants to go out. She's sending me telepathic messages, I believe. Need to go out. So they service hybrid cars because they've got the green sign kind of hanging across the window, covering up their open sign. They've got their phone number pretty much, kind of most of the numbers there. They do most work, and the other auto repair. Would you take your car there? All right, well, the dog decided she was okay with taking a little bit of a car trip today. So here we are. We made double sure we were on the right ferry. We're about to get on the Whidbey Island ferry in Mukilteo. I'm sure I'm not saying that right. But anyway, yeah, we're going to head up towards Deception Pass. I bought the round trip ferry ticket this time. So we'll be coming back here in a little while. All right, we have, hello dog, taking a little hike up here in the headlands above Deception Pass. Now we're going to head back the other way. Well, there we go. Proof that we are in fact capable of getting some of these jobs done. So, quick recap, the anchor windlass, 100% done. All the interior lights that I had planned to change out are done. Now, up here in the main salon, those two back ones are both still the old style, and I might replace those, but we'll see. I'm not worried about that right this minute. And we snuck in a little fun. Got to go take our little hike up there around that headlands of the up by Deception Pass. So where that is you go, if you're going up from the south up Whidbey Island, you go across Deception Pass, and right as you get across it about a mile up the road, there's this little road that goes up to there's a state park where you can get down to the beach there. But if you keep going, ultimately you wind up at Anacortes. But before you get there, there's that little, it's a name of some dude, but they call it the Headlands little park, and there's about half dozen little trails that go around up there, just winding through the forest, and then you wind up overlooking Deception Pass up kind of on the bluff above it. So it's a real pretty spot. Really enjoyed up there. I did time it a little bit. It looks like to me, by the time I go stay on the surface roads, because I can stay on surface roads and get all the way up to that Mukilteo. There's I-5, but if you don't want to be doing battle with the people who are sleeping in their Tesla next to you on I-5, then you stay on the surface roads, which I have been doing. But it's about a 3-hour drive up there. So it's about 3 hours from the time we leave the boat here till we get up there. And that's staying on the surface roads and taking the ferry. If I took I-5, once I got back off the ferry, it might be a little quicker. But then, there you go. You look over and there's some dude snoozing away on his freaking Tesla while it's in auto drive next to you on the freeway, which, I don't know about you, that makes me slightly uncomfortable. So anyway, thanks for watching. Next time around, we got more stuff to do, but I'm getting close to the point, in fact, I might even do it today, where I'm going to start kind of taking the boat
in and out of the slip and figuring out how it navigates around and practicing docking and all that kind of stuff. Since it's kind of nasty weather and I'm not sure I really want to go out and stay overnight anywhere yet, but I am thinking it's time to start kind of figuring out how this thing gets its fat butt in and out of the slip here. So we'll probably do that at some point here as we come up, and I'll probably also work on some of these other projects. But thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time around.